Childhood and early education. A young boy with short hair and a round face, wearing a white collar and large bow, with vest, coat, skirt and high boots. He is leaning against an ornate chair. Einstein at the age of 3 in 1882. Einstein was born in Ulm on March 14, 1879, the year of the death of James Clerk Maxwell, the most famous theoretical physicist of the 19th century. 8. He spent his childhood in Munich. Einstein's parents were secular middle-class Jews. His father, Hermann Einstein, originally made and sold feather beds. Later, when the family moved to Munich, Hermann and his brother Jacob established a factory manufacturing electrical devices based on unidirectional electricity, where they achieved moderate success. His mother, Pauline Koch, took care of all the domestic duties of the family. He had a sister named Maya. She was born 2 years after Einstein's birth. 2 things in his childhood filled him with great wonder. First, at the age of 5, he received a compass and was amazed by its use. How could an invisible force cause the needle of the compass to change direction? From then on, he had a special fascination with invisible forces throughout his life. 9. Then, at the age of 12, he was introduced to a book on geometry. He enjoyed studying this book so much that he called it his holy little geometry book for the rest of his life. 10. In fact, the book was Euclid's Elements. Einstein entered a Catholic primary school at the age of 5 and studied there for 3 years. He did not have much speaking ability, but nevertheless performed well in school. 11. Then, at the age of 8, he was transferred to the Leupold Gymnasium, now known as the Albert Einstein Gymnasium, where he received an advanced primary and secondary education. After studying there for 7 years, he left the German Empire. At the age of 10, he was particularly influenced by a medical student named Max Talmud. He would occasionally dine at their home. Thus, for a time, he became Einstein's unannounced tutor. 10. Talmud taught him higher mathematics and philosophy. Talmud introduced him to the children's science series, Naturwissenschaftliche Volksbücher, 1867-68, written by Aaron Bernstein. In this book, the author tells of his experience of traveling with electricity, that is, moving along a telegraph wire. Einstein then asked himself, what would happen if light could travel in this way? This question continued to haunt him for the next 10 years. He thought that if light traveled at the same speed as light, it would appear stationary, like a solid wave. Since light is made of waves, then stationary light waves would appear. But stationary light waves have never been seen or are not possible. This is where a theory was born that made him think. When he became more seriously interested in philosophy and music, at the age of 13, it was the Talmud that introduced him to Euclid's Elements and Immanuel Kant's Critique of Pure Reason. Kant became his favorite philosopher. Reading the Elements, Einstein learned about the process of finding descending causes. After mastering Euclidean geometry at school, he turned his attention to calculus. 2 years later, he claimed to have mastered the integral and differential calculus. Albert Einstein, age 14, in 1893. Photographed before the family moved to Italy. At the age of 12, Einstein suddenly became quite religious. He memorized various songs and verses in school praising God. But his religious consciousness began to wane after reading books on science. Because scientific theories were conflicting with his religious beliefs. And the theories of science were definitely proven. In this situation, the authorities of the Jewish-controlled schools of the time were not particularly pleased with him. At the age of 6, Einstein took up the violin at the insistence of his mother. He did not like playing the violin very much, so he gave it up. Later, however, he showed a special interest in Mozart's violin tunes. At that time, he used to make various instruments himself and show them to others. From that time on, his special interest and talent in mathematics were recognized. When Einstein was 15, his father was constantly suffering from business losses. In 1894, Hermann and Jacob's company lost a contract to supply electric lighting in the city of Munich because they did not have enough capital to convert their equipment from the standard of direct current, DC, to the more efficient standard of alternating current, AC. The 12. Due to these losses, they were forced to sell the factory in Munich. Hermann and his family moved to Milan, Italy. There he began working with a relative. After Milan, they lived in Pavia for a few months. His father had left him in a boarding house in Munich to study. His father wanted his son to become an electrical engineer, but he showed an interest in pure knowledge. It was during this time that Einstein wrote his first scientific paper, entitled The Investigation of the State of Ether in Magnetic Fields. 13. His life alone in the boarding house became miserable. The monotony of schooling overwhelmed him, and the pressure of military service at the age of 16 overwhelmed him. In addition, Einstein was a student of the school authorities.